Daniel Jones looked like a top-5 quarterback. He looked like the quarterback they selected with the 5th overall pick, and a lot of people questioned that selection. But since that Brian Daboll, has arrived, Skip, he's been phenomenal. Yeah. He's played very, very well. And yesterday, Skip, I think the thing, they have these stats, yard over what was expected. Yeah. What about play over what was expected? I don't think anybody expected Daniel Jones to play this well. When you look at it, he's the first quarterback to throw for over 300 yards and rush for 70 yards in a game. That lets you know in the history of the NFL, he's the first to do it in a playoff game, Skip. So I think that speaks volume to the type of game that he had. He was phenomenal. And the Vikings did not account for the man's legs. They had some great design runs, but Brian Daboll told him, if your first read isn't there, take off. And Skip, he pieced him out so many times, I think he had over 70 yards rushing.
71, yep.
And he's a lot...
Sorry, 78. Yeah.
He's a lot faster than Skip. When you look at him, you're like, he can't run. But you watch him in some of these clips, Skip, he's pulling away from people.
I agree. he timed 4.7 at the combine.
He
looks a little faster.
Yeah. He looks like he... But, Skip, he made great throws. He ran the ball well, and he protected the football. And that's been the knock on him. There's been several times he's led the league in fumbles lost. He's a high turnover guy, but yesterday he was flawless. I don't know if he can play any better. And, I keep one eye on the Giants game, but this might be the best game that I've seen him play. Given the magnitude and the stakes that were involved in this game, Skip, it's hard to say Daniel Jones has played another game. Now, Skip, when you look at the stats, it wasn't like Cousins played awful. He was 31 of 39, 273, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yep.
But he didn't do anything spectacular.
No.
Daniel Jones was spectacular. And sometimes when a guy opposing you is doing things spectacular, you've got to match him. And he didn't match. And I don't know what the hell that last Skip. On 3rd and 12, why the hell would you ever throw the ball 6 yards? You thought the guy was going to break like 15 tackles and get a first down? Damn, at least throw it 10. And maybe he can fight and stretch and do something. But you throw the ball 6 yards. And then he looks around and he unfastens his helmet like, what happened? Bruh, did you realize that? But this is not about Cousins. This is not about... And then the Giants, Skip, the Giants put a meme up, and they had Daniel Jones with all the chains. But you see, you can't have nothing. That's why we can't have nice things. Yeah. Now they got Vanilla Vic, and now they got 2 chains, 3 chains Daniel Jones.
Yep.
But he played phenomenal. The Giants were phenomenal. Skip, they had 4 drives of at least 75 yards, touchdowns. I thought, oh, look at Minnesota. Open the game up with a touchdown. Giants says, hold my beer. Right back at you. Stop them, right back at you. This was a complete game. And, hey, after what I saw them do with their backups to the Eagles, when the Eagles had to have that game in Jalen Hurts, I give them a real good chance to go in there and do something really special, Skip. That's just me.
I, for once, am with everything you just said, including your conclusion. I think the Eagles are about to have their hands full of Giants. I think the Eagles are on the precipice of cry, Eagles, cry.
Build upset alert.
Whew, are they? So, big picture, for me, this game was about the emergence and arrival of the Giants quarterback, and it was about same old Kirk Cousins. Because when you most need him to rise and shine, he will disappoint you every time. Mm-hmm. He has now fallen to 1 and 4 in the postseason. That's who he is and who I think he will always be. And to your point, he's going to make some plays. He's going to make a lot of plays. In fact, looking at my sheet here, is this possible? Kirk Cousins had a better QBR than Daniel Jones yesterday. He had an 85, which is very high, to Daniel Jones' 81, which should have been higher in my estimation, because the great stat is that for the first time in NFL playoff history, we just witnessed a quarterback throw for over 300, have 2+ touchdown passes, and run for 70+ yards. That's never, ever happened in the history of the NFL playoffs, and Daniel Jones did just that.
Right.
So for me as a Cowboy fan, I did a quick step-back tweet very early in the game after he'd made a nice run. And I said, I've really come to admire him because for 4 long years, he's had to withstand the New York media beating. And it's inhuman what happens.
He deserved it, though.
I know. He was asking for it. He was asking for it. And he's going through all kinds of different coaches, including Joe Judge, some special teams coach.
Yeah, that was the problem.
Okay, that was a problem. And all of a sudden, out of heaven into Daniel Jones' lap falls Brian Daboll. He knows how to coach a quarterback.
He
knows how to prop one up and make him realize, hey, you could do this and you can do that, and you're really good at this. So why don't we do this and that and this and that? Let's see if we can put you in the perfect positions to succeed. And slowly but surely, you could see him getting a hold of it until over the last, what, month, 6, 7 games?
Yeah, at least.
He just took off right before your very eyes. And I concluded in my tweet, I don't fear him as a Cowboy fan, although at the end of the game, I'm starting to think maybe I should. But I said I don't fear him, but I've come to respect him. Because going into the year, which you well should have done, you kept saying, well, I got to go with the Cowboys because Dak's the best quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, here came Jalen Hurts, and then here, out of nowhere, came Daniel Jones.
Yes.
Well, look, he's 6 feet 5 inches tall. He weighs 235 pounds. He runs whatever he runs. It looks like he runs 4.5 now. He has athletic ability. He has some takeoff ability where he can really gash you with his legs.
Would you fight me if I said he's the second most athletic quarterback in that division behind Hurts?
No. How could I?
You could.
I would have in Dak's early days,
years,
but he's been battered. And he doesn't look sudden anymore.
He's very reluctant to run, and when he does run, he looks like he's laboring.
He's lumbering and laboring. I would agree. So congratulations to Daniel Jones for surviving the onslaught and thriving in New York in that media market to where, yes, as Saquon said after the game, he's become elite. I'm not sure I could go top 5, but
he played like one yesterday. I don't know.
It was a top 5-ish kind of a game. Okay, so to your point, they had gone in there fairly recently on Christmas Eve, and it had taken a 61-yard field goal to beat them. So they went in with high confidence.
Yes.
It's not the same, but it was almost like the Giants in 07. They played the heck out of the Patriots in the last game. They lost 38-35. Right. So it gave them great confidence going into the Super Bowl, which obviously wound up 17-14, a much lower score. But they felt good about themselves. Correct. And you could see from jump yesterday, even though Cousins goes right down at 7-0, but Daniel Jones said, no, I got this. Right. I can move the ball like crazy against them. And here they came, and they just slowly but surely. Daniel Jones' body language was like, I'm the best player on this field, and I'm going to take this game over. And he just did. He took it over.
Yes.
All right, so now we get to the end of the line. And here we go with Kirk Cousins, but he's down 7. So this isn't a field goal drive. This is going to have to be a touchdown drive. And here we go again with these roughing calls, and you and I go back and forth, and I'm trying to do letter of the law, and I'm trying to hold in with them, but here it is. And I'm saying,
did they say he hit his face mask with his arm, or was it the sling down? Because I didn't hear. So they just called roughing. So
I believe it was the sling down.
Okay,
he brushed his face mask, but I don't think you're going to call that. It was just kind of a brush with the forearm. I don't think it endangered the head at all.
Skip, the man he lands on Dexter Lawrence. Look where he lands, Skip. He lands on top of him.
He does. So this is not body weight on top of poor little Kirk Cousins. It's the other way around. You actually gently take, by football standards, this is a violent game. Right. By football standards, you gently took him down very safely, not dangerously. There was no threat, no harm to Kirk Cousins. I couldn't see anything that was risky at all. And you threw a flag on that, so you let him out of big jail right away. And then we get to the 2 fateful plays. We get the 3rd down play and the 4th down play. Let's see the 3rd down play to Osborne, because it's just a little behind.
You got to make this in this moment, Skip.
You have to make this throw on the money, and it's not quite on the money, and the DB gets a hand up into the catch region.
Lead him a little more.
Yep, and Osborne couldn't hang on. You can argue he just should have snatched it and caught it.
Skip, what happened is that he drifts on this route. He's doing what we call drift upfield. He's got to flatten this off. Yep. If he flattens this off, now the DB is in a trail position, and he can't jet it, but you get a hand up underneath it.
Okay. So now we get to the faithful, as you pointed out, 4th and 8.
What the hell is
okay, it's 4th and 8. And the call, according to everybody after the game, was to go to Justin Jefferson. Well, obviously, that in your money guy, isn't that the guy when in doubt? Kirk Cousins all year just
remember
looked for
Buffalo,
18.
the one-handed catch that was intercepted and he took it from the guy?
Yeah, he just throws it up for grabs usually. And so why wouldn't Kirk just say, I'm going to throw this up and hope that 18 can go up and
down there
grab it out
somewhere.
of this. Yeah, he's down there somewhere. And he said, I looked, and then at the last second, I thought I was going to get sacked, so I did my check down route to my tight end.
Bro, it's fourth down.
It's fourth down, and he is completely and utterly covered, and it's a pretty easy tackle.
Yes.
Pretty easy tackle, and the game's over. And that's it. You didn't even throw it past the sticks. And obviously, this is it. This is your whole season. And we get back to the guy I call Kirk Cousins. You like that, Kurt? I didn't like that.
I didn't like it either.
I didn't understand it. And his coach said after the game, I didn't understand it. The coach said he went straight to Kirk to say, walk me through. What was your thought process?
Yes.
Because then the coach said, well, hey, I take some blame here because I should have just said into his ear, you have to go to Justin on this play.
Right.
And I didn't make it clear, but he's the primary.
Skip, you're not a kid, Kirk Cousins. You make $30 million, $35 million a year. I shouldn't have to tell you on 4th and 8 to throw the ball past the sticks. Whether you throw it, yeah, I want you to throw the ball. I don't give a damn if Justin Jefferson's double covered. Yeah. Throw it to him. But if you don't throw it to him, if he's triple covered, throw it beyond the sticks. You can't throw the ball 3 yards and the DB is standing on top of the Hawkinson. So what did he expect Hawkinson to do?
I don't know.
Turn into Gronk?
Yeah, he said we'd had a few run after catches for first downs. Okay,
yeah,
I got it.
But here's the thing.
Well,
Skip.
you're asking.
He's running, and he's catching it as he's running.
Yeah.
He didn't have, Skip, he's got his back to the guy, so he's in no run position.
No, you're right. If he was starting to turn upfield and you let him a little bit.
Yeah, look at this man. The man's right on top of him. No. So run where?
Yeah. Hawkins is a big dude, but you got him with total leverage.
Skip, he played really, really well.
He did. He was the primary targeted receiver. But he had 11.
It looks to me, the Giants says, he can't catch enough balls to beat us.
Yep.
Justin Jefferson can.
Yep.
Let's neutralize him.
Yep.
Let Hawkinson do his thing. 10 for $1. What do you have? 10 for $1.29. He can't beat us. 10 from $1.29 for Justin Jefferson.
Oh, that would hurt.
Would gut you.
I would agree.
Skip, let's get back to the Giants. Daniel Jones had 17 carries, including scrambles and design runs. Saquon had 9. So that's not an accident. You think like, what, man, that quarterback had 17 carries. Who was he, Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields? No. Because they saw or something from the last time they played.
They did.
That they were not accounting for this man's legs. Yeah. And I said early on, are you not going to account for his legs? Mm-hmm. You better. Well, when you tried to, it was too late, Skip. By the time they realized that, man, do you know what? They're running him by design. Well, it's late fourth quarter, you're trying to get the ball back.
Yep. Would you believe that 7 times Daniel Jones ran for a first down?
Yep.
7 times he ran for a first down. And for the day, they were 7 of 13 on third down, but they went 2 of 2 on fourth down. So that's 9 of 15 times that you had to convert. They converted. Well, that's how you win the game, because then in the end, you know what's going to happen in time of possession. You're going to dominate it, which they did, 34-26, right?
They couldn't get him off the field.
Couldn't get him off the field. Okay.
Over 50% on third down, Skip. Yeah, good things normally going to happen for you. Over 50%, and you didn't turn it over. Okay.
How many times yesterday did I sit back on a running play design and I said, that is clever.
Yes.
I like that. I haven't seen that quite like that before. Dayball was calling it.
He was in his bag yesterday.
He was in his bag, and he was in his bag all week because he said, I was ready for the, I wanted to empty the bag all over him, and he did.
And you remember, Skip, we saw a lot of this with who? Josh Allen. When he was the play caller, remember last year, the year before in the playoffs?
That's true.
You see Josh Allen, a lot of those quarterback runs, they say, son, if it's not there, your first or second read, take off. Don't hold on to the ball. They did a great job. I thought the offensive line did a great job with Danielle Hunter. Yeah, they got him a couple of times, but he didn't spit the ball up when they did touch him.
Yep.
And that's the one thing that you can't have. And now, we're going to talk about this, the Chargers notwithstanding. You don't want to turn the ball over come playoff time, because normally that's the quickest way to get you beat. And we saw that last night. One really turnover flipped the game in Baltimore. One team is going in to score and take the lead, and the next thing you know,
it's a 14-point swing.
Yes.
You don't see that very often.
No, you don't. 98-yard, the longest return.
98 yards?
So with that being said, Skip, Daniel Jones, give him his flowers today. He deserved it. Now, I don't know who's going to be the Cowboys game was standing, but the NFC Offensive Player of the Week should be Daniel Jones.
Okay.
I don't know, Brock Purdy might have some. Mr. Purdy might have something to say about this.
This was beyond that. To me, this was the game.
Skip, the man passed for more yards in the game than Joe Montana in the playoffs. That got to be worth something.
I got it, but this was
it was.
Again. They were the underdogs, and there they are.
But you didn't think they should have been underdogs.
I did not. I picked them, and I actually believe, speaking of the NFC, Brian Daboll is my coach of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you can get around
you
that
gonna get Kyle Shanahan now? Kyle Shanahan, you ain't gonna do that what he did?
Yeah, boy, it's close. But this is turning around a culture. This is a team. Remember, Daniel Jones is 1-6 against my Cowboys right now, and the one he won was the Andy Dalton game up there 2 years ago when McCarthy's looking up on the, he didn't pull his challenge flag. Remember, it's just like it was just challenge it. It was blatant. It was just blatant. You could overturn it with one flick of the wrist, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm the Cowboy coach. I don't know what I'm doing."
He looking at himself over there like, "Dang,
like, oh look, that's me up there."
Pretty swell up there.
Okay, all right. So to me, all of a sudden, the team of destiny looks like the Giants because they have caught fire when you're supposed to catch fire as opposed to my Cowboys. So the point is that they even got the luck of the draw because I don't think anybody right now wants to go to San Francisco and the winner of tonight's game is going, maybe it's a consolation or booby prize. You have to go play those guys over at their place, right?
Yes.
Well, it's hard. Well, all of a sudden, the place to go is to Philadelphia. And I'm taking nothing. You know how much I love Jalen Hurts, but he got hurt.
Yes.
And I don't know how sound his shoulder really is.
And the offense hasn't looked the same. And that defense has looked progressively worse week after week.
Okay, so they seem ripe for the taking.
Yes.
Even at home. And they wiped them out up in New York. They went ahead 21-0 and just...
in the final score was like 48-26 or something like that.
Yeah, but it was a wipeout.
Yeah.
And yet, all of a sudden, to your point, the Giants' backups played the heck out of them. So now they're thinking, well, at full strength, let's see what happens.
That's exactly what they're thinking.
I'm with you. I am leaning Giants in this game because it just perfectly shapes up for them to go in there and just be the better team because they're the hotter team right now.
Well, I'm not necessarily thinking that the picking the Giants, but what I thought was a foregone conclusion. Yeah. The Eagles were going to like a 90% chance of winning.
Well, the Eagles are a 7-point favorite. And I'll say this up front. I'd take those points right here, right now, because I think that's going to be a down-to-the-wire battle. And I'm leaning Giants in that one just because that. Listen, the playoff, what do you always say? It's about matchups, but it's also about momentum.
Yeah.
And the momentum
who you get
team,
when you get them. Skip, hold on. Was that against the Eagles or maybe Washington when Daniel Jones took off and tripped over his own feet? Was that against Washington or the Eagles? Because, he had that long run. He had like an 80-yard run. He was going in for a touchdown, and he was running.
I remember it like yesterday, but now I can't remember who the opponent was. It Dallas?
No,
was it on a?
No, it was a Monday. I think it was a Monday night. It might have been It was either Washington or the Eagles.
Okay, all right. Well, he did do that, and
he was running fast.
He became a laughing stock over that play, and now look at him. He didn't trip up Minnesota yesterday.
Yeah, but Skip, I think the thing is we were talking about how the New York media was beating him up. But this wasn't quarterback abuse. He deserved this.
No, I got it. That's the one town where if you go south, they're going to be all over you.
But I guess there's something about a guy that Cutcliffe coaches because the demeanor. Because he's another Eli Manning. I mean, I can't tell if he's hot. I can't tell if he threw 2 touchdowns or 5 picks. Yeah. He's the same.
All right. Last quick point about Justin Jefferson. I admire his ability, but I've told you all year there's something missing in that psyche where he doesn't have that assassin gene in him. He doesn't have that baller gene. Like, he's not going to be stomping up and down on the sidelines like, throw me the damn ball.
Right.
And yesterday, he has 25 yards on their first drive, and then after that, he had 22 total yards after the opening drive. Well, he kind of disappeared.
Right.
Now, you can say they took him out of the game.
Right. But you got to move him.
Hey.
You got to find a way to get him open.
And you just got to throw it to him, man. I mean, he's it.
Yep.
Okay. Whew. Way to go, Giants.
But Cousins like his completion percentage to be high. And so there's a chance that might get knocked out. See, Skip, you look at 31-39 and see, man, Cousins didn't play that bad. He didn't play that good either. You needed to make plays. 31-39, and you got 273 yards.
I know. So 5 chains is a ball and chain for his team, right?
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.